Okay, good evening. It's nice to be back in shul. We're in the sugya of tefillin, right? The aggression in Menachos. It's going to again. You forget that you're in Menachos, and you say this the sugya. So we're up to Lamed Hey Amid Beis. Lamed Hey Amid Beis. About I say 10 lines up. I'm Rabbi Yehuda Kesher Shel Tefillin. The Kesher Tefillin Sarach Shia Lemaila. It has to be above. Kadesh Yisrael Lemaila V'Lei Lamata. So we wear in the high part of our head that we should be higher and not as opposed to lamata would mean on your neck, fellas, and it's savar, right? Unfortunately, you see many people who wear tefillin incorrectly in the back. The knot is in the nape of their neck, and that's not the place where it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be lamaila, and as it says over here, it's supposed to be mul oirif. It's sarche klape pnim. It's supposed to be klape pnim. A guy wrote a whole sefer. Klape pnim means here's your face. It's supposed to be opposite your face, in your back. Opposite your nose? Your face. I mean, it's supposed to be, you feel your bone, it should be on that bone. It should be on that one. There's a fellow, Bumi Schechter, who's made it his life's mission going around to make sure it's in the right spot. I'd say 9 out of 10 people, including myself, didn't know where exactly the makam of the tefillin is supposed to be. It's supposed to be on the bone. B'diavad, if it's a little off the bone, it's okay also, but it has to have shaykhus to the bone. It has to have shaykhus to the bone, and that's klape pnim, what we call mul oirif. That's mul oirif. That's its mul oirif. So therefore, it should be klape pnim. Another pshat that it has to be towards the face, not on the sides. Kadesh Yisrael lifnim v'loy la'acha, that we should be on the inside, not on the outside. Amar Shmuel bar Bidri, that's when she Amar Rav. I never saw that name before. Ve'imi lo Amar Rav Acha Aricha Amar Rav Huna. Ve'imi lo Amar Rav Menachos Amar Shmuel. Tefillin me'emisay mevarach aleihem. At which point in time do you make your bracha on tefillin? Which point in time you make your bracha on tefillin? The Gemara says mishas hanachasan. When the time they are laid, meaning they are on your head already, meaning they're on your head already. Look at Rashi. Mashma la'acha shenichan. After you put them on already, you make the bracha. What's the problem with that? Ini, is it really so? From Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, kol ha-mitzvos kulan mevarach aleim oivel asi asan. Every mitzvah we make before we do the mitzvah, right? We do before they do the mitzvah, and here you're making it after it's on your head. Says the Gemara, Abaye v'Ami d'Rambam Abayu. They both agree. Mishas hanacha v'at shas kishira. Says Rashi, Abaye v'Rambam Abayu. My mishas hanachasim, when it says mishas hanachasim to Kamar, mishah hanacha. It's the time you're putting them on. Vashas kishira, the kivin that dying like kashron over la'asiyasan. Since you didn't tie them yet, it's called over la'asiyasan. So this tying is it's interesting. If you look at Taisvis, guys, this is mode.
They used to tie it every day.
It says Taisvis mishas hanacha vashas kishira. Mikan hayim medadik Rabbeinu Eliyahu. Shetzarach adam lekashet tefillin b'chol yom. Rabbi Tan mefarish the ain't sarach. Thank you, Rabbi Tan. Right? Who maybe raya b'had armina b'perik kamad dechulin. The tzarach adam sheyil moed gimel devarim ksav shchita umila. Rabbi Yehuda ama av kesher shel tefillin ubichas chasanim v'tzitzis. The ida chechish shchichen and it's v'tzarach l'lam dan lefi shetamid tzarach lehem. And the other ones, they're shchita, mila, these are things that are common. Mashma that kshir is not common, that you don't have to do it every day. That you don't have to do it every day. So let's see. So what does it mean b'shas kshir then? Guys, if you don't have to do it every day. So look at Taisus. Taisus extends to Lamed Vav Amid Aleph. 2 lines from the top, right? The Hacham Mefarish the Hach kshir hainu ha'hoduk shemahadlik mitzamsei b'roishay. That when you go ahead, guys, and you adjust. Guys, you go ahead and you adjust it on your head, right? So you make the bracha. You take your knot, you put it on the back, you make the bracha, and then you adjust it. That would be kshas kshira. Okay, Baruch Hashem for Rabbeinu Tam again.
What's birchas chasanim?
Taisa
said birchas chasanim.
Yeah, it's called. That's the brachas that you make under the chuppah. Okay, says the Gemara Vaita. So Amid Aleph, Amid Rav Chisda, Sach bein tefila letefila. This does not mean tefila means it means.
How you make one bracha there? Well,
We didn't say anything about brachas. We didn't say anything about brachas. Amid Rav Chisda, Sach bein tefila letefila, chayzer umavarech. If you speak between one pair of tefillin, putting on the first one and the second one, then you have to go back and make a bracha. Okay, then you have to go back and make a bracha if you speak. Sach in loy sach loy. Mashma, you don't make a second bracha as long as you didn't talk. So it's mashma, you make a bracha before you put on your tefillin, right? And then when you put on the tefillin shel roish, but when the tefillin shel yad, the tefillin shel yad, and you don't make a bracha when you put on the tefillin shel roish. Ayva sholach Rav Chia bereid Rav Huna mishmeid Rav Yochanan al tefillah shel yad oime baruch Hashem kedushan b'mitzvah v'tzivanu lo neach tefillin al tefillin shel roish oime baruch Hashem kedushan b'mitzvah v'tzivanu al mitzvah tefillin. So l'chayra, what do you? It's mashma that you make two brachas, not one bracha. And over here it says only if you speak you make one bracha.
Gore was discussing bracha before, but that was talking about the shal yad and the shal rosh.
Right?
Talk about the shal rosh.
I guess it's talking about shel yad.
But there's the Gran Yad Amud.
Yeah.
There's the shal. So which kesher would they be talking? The kesher be you?
It could be over here when you're tying it on your arm.
when you said Ahiduk, that was here.
Yeah, Hiduk is on the head. That's how I'm confused.
Right?
Right. Okay, we'll see. Okay, we'll see. B'Zez Hashem, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, continues the Gemara. If you don't talk, you make one bracha. Laniach tefillin. Sach, if you talk, mevarach shtayim. Right? If you talk, then you make two. Right? If you talk, you make two. That seems to be that, and we, of course, we make both. Right? We make both. Okay. Let's see Taisus, guys. Loy sach mevarach achas, sach mevarach shtayim. The second Taisus on the page. Pirish b'kuntris, loy sach mevarach achas, bein shel yad, bein shel roish. You make one for both. Sach, if you talk mevarach shtayim, l'neich tefillin b'shel yad, v'al mitzvahs tefillin b'shel roish. For Benatam Pirish, loy sach mevarach achas l'shel roish, mevarach al mitzvahs tefillin, shezui berchasai. If you don't talk, you make a bracha on the shel roish. So this would be according to Taisus that you spoke about. Sach mevarach l'shel roish l'niach al mitzvahs. So Rabbi Menachos of the opinion that you make the mevarach, the first bracha you make is mitzvahs tefillin, and if you talk, you have to make l'niach tefillin as well. V'chein chasav b'shimushay rava the tefillin. So yeah, your machloek is exactly what brachas you're supposed to make. Now Rabbi Menachos agrees with Rashi that you make l'niach on the shel yad. So Venavash loisach mevarach achas l'shel roish al shel roish al mitzvahs. So in other words, what bracha are you making? According to Taisus, is mashma you're making the bracha about on the shel roish, and not the shel yad. I think he again Rashi seems to I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly clear. I thought I was clear, but it seems to be again. I know we do make both, even if you do not go ahead on and talk. Even if you don't go ahead, we talk. So
That's why we say Baruch Shem.
that's why we say Baruch Shem. Right. That's why we say Baruch Shem. Only Chabad only make one bracha, and you say Laniach. Only Laniach, right? And the Sfardim only make one, right? Who's we? Okay.
Yeah, and if we talk, then we say a bracha.
Yeah, and we say Baruch Shem in order to what?
It's a bracha.
In case you only need it if you talk.
Right.
And you
So if you don't say Baruch Shem, you should only make one bracha,
Well, you could talk.
right?
If you talk, you have to make the second.
Yeah.
You sound like sort of much more logical with bracha.
A lot of things they do.
If we talk, we also make two brachas.
Yeah, if you talk, you make what? You make a neach again and a mitzvahs, right? But again, yeah, that's what he says. If you talked of it, I don't talk. So you the halacha.
I don't talk either.
The halacha is you make a laniach and the mitzvahs.
That's what I remember.
Okay, again, I am unclear. I'm unclear totally. So I'm not gonna say anything. Um, uh, Now, Tana Sach ben tefillah. If you talk, Averi hi biyadai, v'chazal me'archim milchama. You'd come back. You know, they gave a speech, but when you're into war and a person had an averis, this avera, you go back. Now, Rashi tells you, what does this mean? Rashi says, Sach m'varach shtaim kedeshach rabchia, Sach ben tefillah, v'lei birach al shal roish, v'el samach al bracha v'shayna. So he talks, and he doesn't make the second bracha. He talks, and he's soymich on the alaniach. In other words, when it says Sach ben tefillah, it doesn't mean he talks and does and makes a bracha. It's where he talks and doesn't make a bracha. Because you just told me that you make two brachas, right? So Sach, you make two brachas. So he's telling us the following: if you do talk and don't make a bracha, and you're samech in the first bracha, then that's the worst thing you can do. That's the worst thing you can do. That's the worst thing you can do. And again, Rashi tells us in the case where you spoke and you do samech on the bracha and you on the of shalyad and you make a bracha shel roish, then what? Then it's not a good thing. Tana kishumeniach meniach shalyad. First you put on the shalyad v'yakach meniach shel roish. However, kishachaylitz when you take it off, chaylitz shel roish v'yakach chaylitz shel yad. Now, Bishlem kishumeniach meniach shel yad v'yakach meniach shel roish tichsiv ukashar temelios al yadecha v'hadu v'hayil tatafos beinenecha. So the order obviously is that yad goes first. Elakshu chaylitz shel roish v'yakach chaylitz shel yad minalan. How do you know you take off the shel roish before you take off the shel yad? Amar Rabba Rav Hamnuna Asberli. Amakra, it says v'hayu the taitafes beinenecha, and they should be mashma shel yad and shel roish should be taitafes beinenecha. Kol zman shebeinenecha, the whole time it's between einecha yu shtayim. This should be two. The whole time it's so. In other words, the whole time that it's on your head, the shel yad should be on. But if you're going to go ahead and take off the shel yad, then it won't have two. You only have one. So in Mela, you have to go ahead and take off the shel roish first. Rashi, v'hoyu mashma shtayim. Kol zman shiyu beinenecha yu shtayim. The whole time they're on your head, they should be two. Kol zman she'oisan shel roish munachim oisay shel yad nami munachim. The whole time the shel roish is worn, so too is the shel yad worn. Alma the roish chalitz b'reisha must be what you take off the shel roish first. Very good, Shmak.
Isn't there a concept that that's why you put the Shayad on first?
What? I think that's in the zekel when it's in the zekel. It's in the zekel means the big.
I know.
Yeah. So if it's in the big, if you're going to touch the shel roish first, that's why we go ahead and we put the shel yad first further out. So you'll hit the shel yad first before when you go in.
Also, coming to put it on, that's closer. So you put that on first, and then.
I know. It could be. I mean, I don't know. And then they're bringing a pasuk. They're bringing a pasuk. I guess the pasuk makes it a mitzvah first. Okay. Anyway, Tan Rabbanan tefillin me'emasai mevorach aleihem. And what does that mean? We just said it's tefillin when you make a bracha, right? Before you put it, when you put it on ben kshira, right, guys? You make it right between the anach and the kshira. So what does it mean? Let's see Rashi. Says Rashi. Tefillin she'nicha koydem amud hashachar. You got up early, guys. Remember, they wore it the whole day. You got up early and you had to hit the road, so you put on tefillin before you can make the bracha, right? So niach amud hashachar mevorach aleim mishas hanachason. What mishas zman hanachason? It's the time that they should be put on. Dama perakama de brachas. Kriyashma. Chemoimim mishiyur chaveiroi. Merachuk dal ramis. Ramin hasan letfilin ka'acherim kloimel. La'anachas tefillin ka'acherim. The halacha is like the acherim is to be able to see your friend. So now, mevorach leim mishas hanachason. Keitzad hayim mashkim lotzeis lederech Umisyare shema yavaidu, right? You go out and you worry that maybe it's going to get lost. Meinichan, you go ahead and you put it on your head, right? You're scared if you're going to carry it, it's going to get lost, so you put it on your head. Ukeshegiyas man, and when it comes the time of tefillin, then mashmesh behen, you go ahead, you touch them, you touch them, umavarach aleim, right? And then you go ahead and make the bracha. V'ad masai meinicham, and how long do you wear them? So we know the time is Mashiach, fellas. According to Rashi, in other words, you're on the road, you put them on your head, you're on the road, and now you're what time do you make the bracha on tefillin? Mashiach. So at that time, you put it on. You make the bracha, excuse me. Now the Gemara says, how long do you wear your tefillin for? Right? How long? Asher tishka hachama, till shkia. Right? The Tanakhama says shkia. Rabbi Yaakov Omer, asher tichla regel min hashuk. So the people start walking in the street. That's a later time. That's a later time. Right? That's the time of Hanukkah. The Chachamim Oimrim, ad zman sheina, you can wear it till you go to sleep. You're not allowed to sleep in your tefillin, but you can wear it till you go to sleep. So we have shkia, ad shetichla regel min hashuk, and the latest man is what? The zman of what? Of sleep. U'moed Chachamim Rabbi Yaakov, shem cholson lotzes lebeis hakisei, and the Chachamim, the moide to Rabbi Yaakov, u'moide Chachamim the Rabbi Yaakov. Excuse me, it shouldn't be to Rabbi Yaakov. It's right, guys. The earliest man is Shkia, right? So the Chachamim and Rabbi Yaakov are moide to the Tanakama, because both Rabbi Yaakov and the Chachamim gave a latest man of than Shkia. So they're both moide shem cholson latzeis lebeis hakisei or likonis lebeis hamerchatz. If you took them off. In other words, you could have wore them longer. You didn't go to sleep yet, or it's not the zman of shetichle regel min hashuk, but you took them off because you were in a place where you couldn't wear them. V'shaka chama shuvein chayim menicham. So the Chacham Rabbi Yaakov, you have to change the gears. It's not li Rabbi Yaakov, guys. You hear vi Rabbi Yaakov it has to be because they're being moeded to the Chachamim, to the Tanakh. Excuse me, they're moeded to the Tanakhama. That if you take them off, then what? Then you would not go ahead and put them back on. Amrav Nachman, Allah Rabbi Yaakov. If the Allah was Rabbi Yaakov, you can go ahead and wear them at shetichla regel min hashuk. That's the one you can wear them. Rav Chisda, the Rabba bar Rav Huna, Matzli b'hu be'orta. They daven ma'ir with them, right? They daven ma'ir with them. Now l'chayra, this is later than this man of tichla regel min hashuk. Ikad the Amri. Okay, so that's not a kasha. That's they I guess orta means like that's Rashi says it's Kireb Yaakov. Rashi says, guys, it's Kireb Yaakov. That man is Kireb Yaakov. That's this man. It's Kireb Yaakov. Ikadi Amri Omrav Nachmin Ein Aloch Kireb Yaakov. The Aloch is not like Reb Yaakov. I Rav Chisda Rabbi Rav Huna Matzli Behen Beorta. They davened in the evening. In other words, Hahu pligi. This Ikadiami argues, but they argue. This Ikadiami, they in fact they argue. Okay, so they're arguing. Hahu pligi, they're arguing, and they argue on. They're arguing Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman. No, it's asking a kasha. Rav Nachman said the Allah is like Rabbi Yaakov. Rav Chisda and Rabbi Rav Huna, who could argue with Rav Nachman. Guys, they're both Amoraim. So they argue. They said Allah is not like him, right? Allah is like it. Fred Gemara, Mi Amar Rabba Rav Huna Hachi. Does Rabbi Rav Huna say that you put on tefillin at night, like they didn't, like Rav Chisda and Rav Huna? If Amar Rabba Rav Huna, there's Safik Hashefa, Safik like Hashecha. If it's a Safik night, not night, like Chaylitz, right? If you shouldn't take them off, V'laminiach, but you shouldn't put them on. Havadei Hashecha, but it's Vadai nighttime Chaylitz. So you see, you can't wear them at night. If it's a suffix, you don't have to take them off. But if it's Vadai night, you have to take them off. So how can you say that that Rabbi Huna says you can put them on in the evening? Says the Gemara, Hassam, where did they take it off? It's by Erev Shabbos. That was by Erev Shabbos. Right? And therefore, since you don't put tefillin on Shabbos, they took it off. But on a normal day, they would wear it until night. Right? So again, they took it off earlier. because it's coming Shabbos, and you don't wear it on Shabbos. But normally, normally it would be okay. Now, the Gemara is asking, guys, they're taking it off. It's mashma. They're taking it off because it's Shabbos, yeah? Okay. What happens if you hold Shabbos and Laila are intertwined? In other words, if you hold Laila is the Zman, then you hold Shabbos is also the Zman. And if you hold Shabbos is not the Zman, then nighttime is also not the Zman. Here's saying that we're making a chilik. There's a difference between the nighttime and Shabbos. Nighttime they wore it. Shabbos at night they didn't wear it. Correct. What happens if I can tell you that Shabbos and Laila are gebunden? They're bound together, which we're going to see right now. So says the Gemara the following: My kasava. Why did Rabbi Rav Huna hold? Ikasava Laila is man tefillin. If he holds Laila is the time of tefillin, then Shabbos nami is man tefillin. Then Shabbos is also man tefillin. So why would he take it off as he approached Shabbos? Ikasava Shabbos lavs man tefillin who? Laila nami lavs man tefillin he. Okay, and it's also not man tefillin. So you give me a teretz that during the week they would wear it at night, but Shabbos they won't. If they wore it during the week at night, they should wear it on Shabbos too. Right? It's because it's tied one to the other. The mehecha the ma'at Shabbos mehasam mimate leilis. The same source that you memayat Shabbos from, you memayat lifetime from. The Tanya. It says, right? What does it say? V'shamartes achuk azois l'mayada miyomim miyamima. That's what it says by tefillin. Yomim, right? That the tefillin is during the day. Yomim v'loy b'leilis, but not at night. Mi yomim, that's the mem. I guess yomim mi yomim, part of the days, not all the days. Mi yomim v'loy b'chol yomim. Part of Shabbos is yom tovim. Div Rabbi Yosef Glili. So Rabbi Yosef Glili shows that l'chayr Shabbos and Laila are dependent, the same miyat. You memayit from the word yomim, right? Mi yomim, you might Shabbos, no, you might Laila. Rabbi Kiva says, when it says over here, when it said chukah, that chukah wasn't speaking about tefillin, right? The end of Parshas Bo was speaking about what? It was speaking about the Korban Pesach. Bilvad. And that, in other words, you have to make miyom yomimo, you have to make what? The Korban Pesach. And it's not speaking about tefillin at all. So according to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, that in Shabbos u'leilos from tefillin, Rabbi Akiva, this is not you're not miyamayim, even one of them. Okay? So therefore you have a kasha. What's the makar for Rabbi Rav Huna that says Laila in Shabbos? No. Okay, guys, outside. Outside. You're telling me Rabbi Huna said the following. Every day during the week, you could wear your tefillin at night. You don't have to take them off. Kam Shabbos, you got to take them off. Good? We have two Manda Omrim now who are Tanoim. One of them, Rabbi Yosef Gluli says, Shabbos is out, Laila's out. If Shabbos is in, Laila's in, Shabbos is in. So Rabbi Rav Huna is Zicha not going, like Rabbi Yosef Glili. Says Rabbi Akiva, neither. He says they're both in. Because it's speaking, the pasuk of Rabbi Yosef Glili is speaking by the Korban Pesach according to Rabbi Akiva. So you have no source to go ahead and exclude Shabbos and Yantif. So who does Rabbi Rav Huna hold like? Because if he holds like Rabbi Akiva, you should let him wear it on Shabbos. And if he holds Rabbi Yosef Glili, you should not even let him wear it at night. Guys, you good? Okay, you shouldn't even let him wear it at night. That's the Gemara's kasha. So nafikle mehechde nafikle, they learn out from different sources. Rabbi Akiva, the Tanya, Rabbi Akiva Omer, Yachol yeniach adam tefillin b'Shabbos v'yom tovim. I might think you wear tefillin on Shabbos and Yantif. Tamalei mevahoy la'ois al yadecha l'toitefos b'neinecha. Misha tzrichim ois, something that needs an ois. Yatzu Shabbos v'yom tovim shein gufa ois. There's a very famous joke, right? You don't want to over ois, right? Sorry, right? You don't, again, so you don't, Shabbos is a nice. It's sign that, so it's tefillin. So you don't, so now I tell you, it's very funny. The guy in yeshiva, he went to the yeshiva and he said, Rebbe, ich bin nicht from. Said Binish from. Rashiva looked at him. He goes, "The lake filling you had the tug." So he goes, "Yeah." At Heath Shabbos, you keep Shabbos? He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Bistu from." That was it. That was it. In other words, forget philosophy, forget anything. Shabbos is a nice, and tefillin's a nice. You put on tefillin, you put on Shabbos, no shine. Bistaf bist from. I still remember that. Anyway, so Rabbi Kiva says that you don't put it on Shabbos. Why? Because it's a nice and Shabbos is a nice. Okay, Memela, but by nighttime, guys, by nighttime he doesn't have a. So in other words, Rabbi Rav Hun would go according to Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Kiva doesn't say he only had a miyat for Shabbos. He didn't have a miyat for nighttime. So Memela, now you have the shita of Rabbi Rav Huna that he holds like what? Like Rabbi Kiva. In other words, he learns it out from Rabbi Akiva, like that shita. Okay, very good. Says the Gemara Vayta. Amr Rabbi Laza. Kol amaniach tefillin achas shkir sachama. Oiva ba'asei. If you go ahead and put your tefillin on after shkir sachama, it says v'shamarta sachuka zois l'moyada miyomim yomim v'leileilis. Now this is lav habol mechalasei. In other words, it doesn't say thou shall not put tefillin on at night. It says you put tefillin on during the day. And we infer that what? That must be that you can't put it on at night. That's a lav, haba, that is inferred mechalasei. Now what darga it gets is that's under discussion. So again, it says and we make a diak days and not nights. And for lav haba mechalasei is dinu kasei. Therefore, what? It's not say. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, right? If you put on tefillin, that's Rabbi Laza. Rabbi Yochanan says if you put on tefillin after shkia, oiva b'lav, you're oiva on a lav, because since it's v'shamarta and the lashon of shmira is right, it's the lashon of asay, as we're going to see in a second, the lashon of a lav, so it's a lois asay. Lema berebi, ovin Amar Rebbe Allah kamiflagi. Let's say Rabbi Elazar who says it's an asay, and Rabbi Yochanan who says it's a lav, argue in the very, very famous pshat of Rav Avin Amar Eloi, called the Amar Rav Avin Amar Eloi, called Makam Shenemar, and it says one of the shyness. He's shamer, guys. We've had this numerous times. He's shamer pen va'al. Anytime he says one of these things, Einu ella mitzvus loisasei. It's a loisasei, even though it doesn't say low. So it says vishamarta, guys. So vishamarta fits into the category of Rav Rabbi Eloi, and he says, "Loisa say Demar Rabbi Yochanan is of the opinion Islay the Rabbi Avin, therefore it's a lav. Umar and Rabbi Laza does not hold the Rabbi Avin, and therefore it's an asay." Again, it says v'shamarta is a chuka, so v'shamarta is lashon shmira. Now, does it make it a lav? Says Rabbi Yochanan, it's you're even a lav. Says Rabbi Laza, you're even an asay. So it must be in the first. The Havmin of the Gemara, what's the Svaras Machlokes? Rabbi Yochanan holds like Rabbi Avin, and therefore it says Vishamarta, which is the Shavris of Shin Mem Reish, it's a lav. And Rabbi Laza says that Asay does not agree with Rabbi Avin. For Amar Rabbi Laza, says the Gemara, of Amar Rabbi Laza, okay. Even the Rabbi Laza says if you put on Shkia, he said you're over on Asay, right? If you put in Shkia, you're over on Asay. V'im l'shomram. If your kavanah putting it on is to watch them, they shouldn't get lost, then muta, even after shkia. So again, when are you over mevatel and asay? When you're putting on the same mitzvah tefillin. But if you're putting it on to go ahead and watch, you're putting it on to watch, then you would not be over on the asay. Then we permitted. V'am ravina, what? No, you're not doing the mitzvah at all. V'am ravina, have a yasivna kamed Ravashi. I was sitting in front of Rashi. The choshach v'niach tefillin, and it got dark, and he put on tefillin. The amrulei, and I asked him, l'shamram kaboy luhumar, is you putting it on what? Because why? Because you want to watch them. V'amli in, and right? And he said yes. However, I knew better. The chaziste l'daita, and I saw that his das was the lav l'shaman hu boy elakasava. He said that the halacha is that you do put on tefillin at night. I mean, Myron Kane, and you want to teach other people to do it. So in other words, he put it on Paka. I guess he must have made a bracha. If he put it on, he must have made a bracha. right? He must have made a bracha. Anyway, so it's,
You can't tell the difference, right?
See, like sometimes by Mincha time, you see the clothes, so that's the reason for that.
you have to ask them.
They didn't do it in the morning.
Yeah, I mean that.
No.
No, really, no, they didn't do it in the morning. They.
Could have landed from.
I've seen people put on tefillin like.
I thought it might fill it in most of the time because my plane got in late. Like in 2 o'clock in the afternoon, this was come in early in the morning.
Well, for you, it's fasting. We're gonna fast it.
Okay, so BMS, so Ravina saw Ravashi, and he said that Ravashi must have held that Laila is Mantfila because he was putting it on, but he didn't want to go ahead and paskin barabim. So Amar Rab Rav Huna Chai Vadan Lamashmish b'Tefillin b'Chol Shah. A person has to touch his tefillin all the time. B'Kal v'Choyim mitzitz. A Kal v'Choyim from the tzitz. Umat tzitz shein by el askara achas. Right? It says Kodesh Lashem. Amar Torah, that askara is the name of Hashem. Amar Torah v'Hoy al mitzchay tamid. What does that mean? Shlei tesiach daitem imenu, that you shouldn't have hesach hadas. Tefillin sheish ba askara is harbe alachas kama v'kama. And therefore, that we touch that tefillin. I'm busy with making sure it's in the right spot. I obsess about that. I have this mirror. It's my own nuts. I got to make sure it's right there. You know, it's my own craziness. Okay, there's worse things to be crazy about. That's right.